Last week 12.7. Demos, no transliteration demo. So sad, but we didn't get anything from Soteris. I'm kind of surprised actually that Isham might be able to do that, and that would be interesting because he's good at localization, internationalization. That's good. So we should ask Isham to give it a shot. David showed us statically typed URL creation by creating an extension method in Razor to be able to have IntelliSense on controllers and actions and create URLs to these controllers and actions. Strongly typed. And that works also then with their refactoring. And compile time, it will verify that the action exists. We talked about liquid extensions. Yeah, how liquid can be better than what it is. What if users could create a theme from the admin? Yeah, topic from Soteris, talking about admin creation and editing from the admin. Sorry, theme editing and administration. So that's it today. We are. Okay. Topics. Let's start with that so I don't forget this time. Holidays. I think we'll skip meetings of 12/21 and 12/23. Next week we don't do meetings, so we don't expect anyone to show up, and this way nobody should expect to be expected at the meeting. That
I had a topic.
you have a topic.
I have a topic. Release.
Oh yeah. I also had that, but I forgot. So that's good to have these notes. I thought about it just before. I was like, should we release today, Thursday, next week? And okay, let's talk about it after.
And maybe one other topic as well.
Oh.
After we release, do we drop Lit Core 3?
Yeah. I was wondering, okay. Okay, question is not if, it's when. Demos. And actually you mentioned that after release, so. Demos. Who has demos? Everyone is like, I don't want to be first, I want to be last doing the demos. That's okay. You can be first. Oh boy, no demos. Such a shame. Oh, we almost have a dream team and no demos. Oh boy. End. The demos. We see based on the updates what we can talk about. We also have topics. So updates. This one. Orchard one. Matteo merged added descriptor to the tray context. Apparently, they need more data, which is available in the event descriptor. So now there is an audit trail event descriptor in the audit trail context. And it's all part of the same module, no breaking change. So 110x. Just unique properties available. Orchard core. We said the 7th here. This one, add localization to Docker images. Much better change. So apparently there was a change in MS Build that now it will get all the files every time. It was not doing it in some sort of build or publish. I don't recall, but it's fixed. And it will fix the Docker images the way we publish them. That will include the localization the next time we publish it. AutoRoute renamed to AutoRoute. So the folder was in AutoRoute, okay. How can it break? Sealed, internal, that's good. So this one, it's a public one, but I think that's fine. Now thinking about it, I'm like, maybe it should have been an uppercase R here instead. When you see how it's dynamic route, it's not like a word, the AutoRoute, so but now it will be the AutoRoute. It's more like AutoRoute. Yeah, that's okay. Now that's consistent. NJsonSchema updated because it's using Fluid. Yay! So we don't need to. So yeah, I think that's Dean who mentioned that now it won't actually download .liquid because apparently with that it was importing .liquid with the previous version because it was relying on .liquid. So that's interesting. Upgrade YesSQL, and this one I believe, well, 3 releases, at least new npgsql MySQL connector versions, which are like 6.0.1, like patch updates. Oh no, okay, so this one was not updated because it was from 9 to 10. I think that's all that there is inside, and I bumped it because there was an important bug fix in 6.0.1 for npgsql. Fix CorrelateTask. The idea is that it was saying that it supported Liquid, but it actually supported JavaScript. So the solution here has been to update the hint to say it is actually JavaScript that is supported, and to use the Monaco editor to edit the JavaScript. mkdocs, System.LinqAsync update, fix CSS intermittent encoding issue. Good job finding out the problem, which was a charset issue because Dart SAS can handle different charsets if you put the information at the top of the file. Where is that? Do we have an SCSS here? It was already there apparently. Okay, but because this header was injected, the include or the charset was not at the top anymore, and apparently Dart CSS didn't like it. So the header is not injected anymore.
It's not Dart SAS. It's really the server that serves the CSS files with these char sets. If you're not including the char set on the first line, then ASP.NET serves the files as, I believe, maybe a ASCII file.
So what you say, if it's not at the first line, where is it there? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's removed because the problem was with the admin.css file. And probably here, if we added a char set, yeah, because
okay,
here,
there.
yeah, it's there. But I removed the comments in every CSS files so that if someone has this single line on every other CSS files because he needs to use it, then it would not serve the CSS file as UTF-8.
So this directive, nothing to do with Kestrel. Kestrel doesn't care about it.
This is not Kestrel, but the cache on the browser, which will serve the files.
The cache on the browser.
Yeah, because once it's downloaded, and then once it's in the cache, it was serving it differently than UTF-8.
And the cache one was wrong?
Yeah, the one that when you disable the cache on the browser, it was fine. And if you enable back the cache, then you get this error.
Okay, so it was storing it as ASCII and not UTF-8.
Yeah, so it's a browser issue. It's
maybe,
not, yeah.
Maybe actually the problem is not really that. Maybe it's the bob that is removed somehow by that. So it doesn't know. Because
it doesn't know because it searches for
it might be maybe because try to remove that and maybe it will still work.
Oh, we tried and the bug was happening all the time if we remove this line.
Oh.
So this is why I'm asking myself if it's a problem with ASP.NET.
No, ASP.NET, the static file provider, I don't think it doesn't parse the first line of a CSS to find a char set.
I would be surprised, but yeah, we fixed the issue this way without really looking too much in the ASP.NET side of things.
Okay. But
it's not related with Dart SAS. Even if Dart SAS has already had issues with that also.
Okay, good. Thank you. Crazy. Monaco update. Allow sending emails without two HCC or BCCs provided. So apparently you can send an email without a to property as long as you have a CC or a BCC. Okay. Awesome. Event test for workload. Good job. And that one. But there was this one really. This one. 228. Pretty sure this one is like 228. Nothing interesting. I can click there. Identifier can start with. Oh, well, yeah. What was that? David Lee says that in Liquid you can have an identifier that starts with a number. I discovered that. It was fun. Because one with a letter is a file identifier, but just one is not an identifier, it's just a number. So that was not easy to parse, but that's interesting. Fixed. That function. Oh, what's more interesting is that thing, jump setter, which is something like Shopify that is also using Liquid, but in Ruby, and they have a sandbox here. So what is good is that this is the actual Ruby implementation of Liquid. Now I'm using Liquid.js to test, but this is a custom implementation in JavaScript, so it might not be as true as this implementation. So that's very nice to know that there is this one, jump setter, to try some Liquid templates in Ruby, the official implementation, to see there are bugs in free. I was happy to learn that. Better no reference exception. for widget and MenuItem, Jasmine. With content types and stuff, and testing, blah, blah, blah. Publish this content item, may erase created content. Okay. Job. Lots of checks to verify that you will have something that works before it fails. That's good. Specify GraphQL API in query hint for schema field. Okay. Oh, there is some dog. Ooh. Yeah, I think last time we had someone to write something about it. Meh. I did. Meh. Sure. Query structure.
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay, cool. Here is how you define a schema for this query. Oh, I think Jasmine did that.
Maybe.
Maybe. So
I don't remember everything, but yeah.
And we can't trust the thing that is at the bottom because it's wrong. Some of them we can trust, but some old ones we can't. It's beautiful, look at that. We go down and then it goes away. Wow. Awesome. Move email.core unit test into their proper place. Okay. Good.
I think Hisham is making a cleanup, moving things from the unit test. If you want to look at another PR, maybe you should look at that because I'm not sure if it's a good thing to do, but yeah. Maybe
okay,
you should add your comment on this PR.
Noted. So next, demos. We've done all the demos. What's new? Nothing that I know of. What? Nope. Oh, let's check the perf. It's been a few weeks to see if Orchard is still faster. Still fast, sorry, fast. You see Orchard to them sounds good. Nothing bad here. So still fast. This is Linux, SQLite, the top, and NPG SQL. I think I mentioned that to Shai, the drop here between the 5.0 and the 6.0 version NPG SQL, but it's also Net 6, so maybe one or the other, and on Windows. Same thing, SQLite is higher than NPG SQL. Beautiful. Everything is fast. Awesome. That is done. Topics, so that I mentioned next week meetings, release. So we can do a release anytime we want. As usual, we decide what should call. Oh, I have another topic actually. Really, so we have shipped 1.10 on November 2nd. So this is time to ship the next one, actually 1 week before. And Dean noted that 1.2 is past due by 14 days, so we need to ship it. So let's ship 1.2. There are How do we know? Yeah. So 18 closed. So the 1.x or 1.2 are the same, but oh, we have 4 open for 1.2. So this should be blocking. Migrated. So documentation or fix the migration. Bug. Linkation verified. And this one assigned for 1.2. Yeah, this is administrative stuff. The ID prefix verification is already done, but we need to add more people to the organization or to create an organization that can manage that. Might not be an organization yet, so we need to create one. Okay, 2 or 3 bugs here to look into to fix it. So what we'll do is that we won't create a release branch for now because all the fixes can still go in 1.2. We don't need to create a release branch. We'll create it at the last moment. And is there anything that we want to wait for to assign to 1.2? Then a December update. And this one for sure, security stuff and everything. That we don't care. That is dangerous because it's a major version. Maybe before a release, we should not update major versions like this, unless there are issues that we really want. Or we do it now and people can test it. Okay, so let you decide. Just looking for what we would want in 1.2.
Maybe use current port for tenant URLs.
What is that?
Just higher.
Yeah, the one that I don't like. I don't like. I think I have something I don't like. Oh, it's a new one. Okay, it's a new one. Oh, and I said create a private method.
Yeah, but it's in the Razor page, so yeah. It's a function inside a Razor page. A Razor template.
Okay. I didn't see it was a function. But I saw the code twice, so I'm like, function.
Yeah, because you need to copy.
Oh, yeah, get display URL.
Yes, it's
get encoding. So yes,
private.
this one should be another one, private one. So this is the index tenants page, host string, host not null. And then if it has a port, a string, it concatenates the port.
So basically add a third method that calls this and
A third method.
You want to have this part of the code to be inside a private method.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about the third method. I was trying to understand what it does with the port. Okay, it's trying to use the current port value of the current request and then use that to generate the URL because apparently you lose it in this link. Because it's building a custom link without using, okay, it's building the link by itself. I see. That's why. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, it's just nitpicking, so it doesn't have to do that, but Yeah. Okay, so yes, oh, I see, we want this one to be there. Output.cms.web with net6. What is that? Oh, that's just the CS Pro, that's just this one. Okay, so I whispered, I don't want that for the whole project because it would be a nightmare to make it work. It doesn't prevent all issues and people don't understand. Like common contributors won't understand how it works, what to type, what it means. It's a step to some work to learn how it works and what you can type and understand your messages. I've been there. I'm still not very good at it, so I don't want people to have to endure it. That is fine. That is totally fine. Remove namespaces and implicit usings. Okay, so that looks good. And take a picture. This is the same code as before. Auto setup. It was somewhere. Oh yes, it was in the setup. So now there is a single file, so it's much simpler to understand. Load it. Even the templates. That's good. And yeah, okay.
Was it causing the issues with the CI because we do net targeting?
The type of namespace could be found. Maybe the implicit namespaces, implicit usings are missing something. Or some other file in the project is looking for the CMS namespace. The tests have to be updated. So yeah, when you try it locally, Antoine, I assume you built the solution, but you didn't, or you built the project, but you didn't build the test. And if you build the full solution, it will show you the error messages, and you will just need to add a namespace in the test. Probably that's the reason. Because now, where is the namespace? You see there is no namespace. You remove the namespace. So this namespace doesn't exist anymore, so it can't find it. And it was using that to do a unit test. Not this one, but maybe this one. This one. Okay, so you could keep this one there, because otherwise there is no namespace for these things here, the program CS. So that's it. Yeah, so I think we should have it. Update the templates to use the new minimal APIs format. Everyone agrees? It's nicer. We support net6. Oh, but does it? Oh yeah, it's just a template, so we can say net6 by default for the template.
Yeah, we'd probably just have to find some way of saying you can't use them on 3, but that's fine.
Yeah. Oh.
There's also limited targeting on the CI that causes the issue here.
Yes, we can't test them with all the versions in this case, unless we use the templates. But the template here doesn't. I don't see anything in the templates to switch based on the TFM, because this code won't work in NetCore 3.1. So it might require 2 types of program CS, the old one and a new one for net6. Because we have the flag in the template.
Or we could just update the templates to say that they only work on net6.
Yeah.
Or we could just drop core 3 and 5.
Yeah.
And my point is only that the multi-targeting has been great.
Have we shipped? We haven't shipped the .NET 6 and the NetCore through.
No, we have to ship the release to get a NetCore 6 release out.
Okay, so we said we will ship a release with both of them.
Yeah.
And then after we can drop it.
And then after we can drop it, which just takes away all the inconvenience and.
Okay, so
stuff.
this one here.
1.3.
Yep. I will keep it. I will remove that. Okay. We don't ship it for 1.2. We'll ship it in main after we ship 1.2, and then we can get rid of the other TFMs. Okay.
Speaking of the removing core 3 and core and 5, next year when they release 7, will that be LTS, or will we be in the same situation where we want to be able to have Net 6, 7?
We'll need to keep 6.0 and 7. 6.0 because it will be LTS, and then 7 because it will be the latest, and we want the latest to support the latest.
Cool, but the latest at that point won't be LTS.
Nope.
Yeah. So probably worth keeping the multi-targeting.
Yep. Yeah, sure. We don't release any logic.
Yeah. Because we'll need it again.
Something that we can do, however, when we drop the old ones is drop some dependencies. There are things that we keep only for NetCore 2 and Net 5.0. There are things that we can support also. Date, time, which are new date types that we can use, either to replace what we have today or to add new fields, as long as it doesn't break anything. Because sometimes, like if we have a time field, we use a date time, but just the time part of it. Now we can use the time now. So these kind of examples are the new things that are only available in Net 6, like the changes that Antoine suggested with the templates.
Yeah,
Single file.
we might potentially be able to get rid of node time, for example.
We can't. I tried on Fluid to get rid of time zone converter, for instance, that lets us do two things, like node time, which is list all the IANA time zone names, and also convert between time zones. Because in the Net 6 they have a new API that does that, but it doesn't work on some machines, on Windows, and it depends also on the group policy. So it might work on Windows in our unit test, and it might not work when someone deploys on a specific machine. So we can't be based on that because it will randomly fail, and people might not have like it won't work on app service, for instance. So we can't use the Net 6 API. It's so sad.
So
it makes it useless. So if it's
so next version.
Not even true. So we'll see. I like them to reopen the bug and say we'll do the same. We'll have our own list of, but that makes them have to update the file. It's hard. It's a hard issue. So right now we can't remove some of the things. Time zone support. There might be other things we can remove. So we'll see. Or new syntax.
We'll at least be able to take C# latest, which would be nice.
Yep. So drop some dependencies, release, ship 1.2. When do we ship? When we ship when no more open issues for 1.2. That's it. And when we ship, Docker will work, NuGet will work, everything will work. If there is no network issue, like there were last time. There is another bug I find. Well, I commented on NuGet. The author of Piranha CMS also commented on the same issue, which is that there is a flag that we use for pushing the NuGet packages to skip existing NuGet packages. So if we mess up with one release, we can still restart the full release process, and it will just skip all the NuGet packages which are already uploaded with the same version. But the symbols, they don't follow this logic. And when they try to update the package online, they say, hey, there is already a package, but it doesn't match the one I've been built for. So I can't upload the symbols and it fails the build. So I'd like them to say, if the symbols are already there, skip also the symbols, like you did for the NuGet package. But you can't do that. So it has to work on the first try. So yeah, as soon as all the issues are resolved, we can ship 1.2. Antoine, if you want to prepare the files with the checkboxes and the documentation release notes, something that we can do, you did at some point, and I will try to do it here, because now I keep doing it on all my repositories, is when we create a release, we can ask to auto-generate all the changes in the PR since the last release, okay? And it lists also all the new contributors, it lists the contributors, it's very nice, I like it. So this way you can, and I'm sure you've used that by the past for some reasons, so we can generate the reasons this way also, include that. And clean it by removing all the things that are duplicated, like if we upgraded Fluid, we don't need 10 times the Fluid version, same thing for the MKDocs and so on, okay? To make it, we can keep all the list there. It's nice also. Makes sense? So I'm not publishing that. I'm not saving anything this way. So when I ship, I'm doing that, and so then when we publish the release, it creates the tag, and then it publishes automatically, and we get beautiful. That questions, comments about the release? The best release ever, the fastest also, because it will use the new SQLite. Awesome. Then 2.0, topic 2.0. So there is something we said for 2.0. I don't know when we'll start working on a 2.0 branch, something that breaks everything and we can like go crazy and break all the things. Something that breaking all the things, I think even if we break all the things, we can still have a migration path by renaming all the things in the database with SQL scripts and so on. That should be doable. That would be great to have a migration path and still break all the things. Something also about breaking all the things, there was a big thing which was split the project in two. Meaning the framework and the CMS, okay? And this way we can work independently from the framework, so it's lighter solutions, and we can focus on the CMS or focus on frameworks. There is an issue which is synchronization. When we do a change on a framework, we need to update the CMS. Maybe the CMS could use a submodule. If I'm not a fan of that, we have to talk about it. But if we do have a framework solution, it should be with a different name or something that is not with the CMS inside, okay? Because people are confused. Hey, yes, it's not a CMS, but it's in the org orchard CMS, for instance. So it should not have that, like no orchard CMS org either. So maybe a new org. I checked, and orchard project, orchard core, they are all used by an org like orchard or by usernames. So we can't use them as a new organization. And if they were available, we could even rename orchard CMS org to something else. If we ask Lombic, they will say, oh, let's call orchard Lombic orchard, but we can't do that. We'll have to find a neutral name. So for an org, and that will solve, that would be, then we would be able to have the CMS and the framework in the same org. That would be better.
Perhaps orchard framework or something like that.
Okay, yeah, so we need to find something. So orchard framework. I'm not even confident anymore, because when I see a work, so
Or
before I publish the video,
orchard core.
What?
Perhaps even orchard core.
Oh, I tried. There's a user for that. So, but your organizations. Go to your corner switch. How do I create an organization? Okay, got it. Nobody was faster than me. So at least now, I have it. It's bad, but don't worry. People will be in it. It's just to reserve that. So we have one. Thank you, Dean, for the suggestion. I'm sure we might find better ones. I don't know. Orchards or whatever. Okay, orchard software, orchard.core, orchard. I don't know. At least we have this.
You wouldn't want to call it orchard.net, but orchard framework is quite long.
Yes. So yeah. Might also be lowercase. Now I can delete it if I want. That's fine. We can. So that's just brainstorm and try to find some ideas. It's good to keep orchard for history and also for the project name. And then what is nice is that if we change the name of the org, then it's like the projects and the usernames, they will redirect the old URLs to the new one automatically. So we're not losing anything. So that's cool if we can rename it to something without the word CMS. So yeah, that's something that we need to think about. And even if it's just like from a version like 1.2.1.3 to a 2.0, no new features, but just big breaking changes like organizing the project, splitting, naming, stuff like that. And then we can have a migration path, because it's clear that everything is the same, but just the name. So the database can change, the folders can change. Even if it's an app to run to migrate the database and not integrated in the app itself, you have to check if it's too early.
It would be interesting to debate whether a framework should have a database. That might be an interesting. Where's the line on what's a framework and what's not? And I wonder if has a database might be it.
Or what database may be, but like if you create tenants where you store tenants, like at least the notion of stores, that you can change the stores, like let's use a file, let's use NT framework, let's use YesSQL.
Yeah.
So this one
at which point the stores would go in the CMS, because you just have the abstractions in the framework, which would mean no breaking changes, which would be kind of cool.
See. But stores could be also very low level, like save a JSON document. But it depends on what's in the framework. Okay.
Absolutely, just ideas.
I don't like the fact that YesSQL would be in the framework. It should be a thing less opinionated than YesSQL. The fact that the CMS needs YesSQL, maybe because it's oriented for content, for document management. But the framework itself, like user management, maybe YesSQL is a bad idea, or it should be a store, YesSQL store, because you want to use the same logic as YesSQL for the users. But if you want to use the entity framework store, like Kevin has done, then you should be able to do that.
Agree. Also, the user stuff is part of the CMS, not the framework. But semantics.
Or maybe we need three things: the framework, yes, right. The framework, the modules that are CMS unaware, and the modules that are CMS aware. Even if the modules are all in the same project, that's fine. But at the same time, maybe some people would like to use, well, you see what I mean? Like, we need to have things that are not CMS, that don't have CMS in the name. So.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a good split. I mean, part of the reason for it, I guess, is that, you know, a lot of us come from using Orchard as a CMS, so I don't know how much traction it gets as a framework, and yet it is a great framework.
Yeah. So I saw a tweet and follow suggested people to use Orchard Core because they were like, oh, I want modular application and also do multi-tenancy, and they're like, use Orchard Core. Yeah, it's a CMS. Oh yeah, no, it's not just that. And I pointed to the CMS, and the follower was like, dude, it's not a CMS. Even the org is named CMS. So I'm like, yeah, we have the org, we're going to change the org. So people have this misconception. So that's good. And we might even use a different name for the framework so that the search engine it's more search engine aware, and there is no confusion between the CMS Orchard and the framework name. Maybe Orchard should be the CMS, and maybe something else should be the framework. And everyone knowing Orchard will know that this is just a framework, or will still continue using Orchard. But the ones who want to use a framework, they could just focus on the framework part. They don't have to know about Orchard and be confused with the CMS. So that might be also interesting there. So even if the org, for instance, was not named Orchard, but the product itself was called Orchard as the CMS, and then the framework is just another project under the new org on GitHub. So we can still talk about Orchard, Orchard Core, Orchard project, everything. This is a CMS, and then split it with a framework. That will make it easy. Are there some examples? If I take Django, there is Django and Django CMS. What else? Drupal CMS, WordPress doesn't have a framework either. Monaco, none. It's hard to find another example. There is Ruby on Rails, but I don't know any CMS using that. Is there a Symfony and Symfony CMS? I don't know.
Symfony is an ASP framework. No, not
PHP.
ASP.
PHP.
MVC framework. It's an MVC framework, so it's just Symfony.
Yeah, but is there a CMS into that?
No.
Okay.
Not that I've seen.
Okay. Yeah. So comments, go on Gitter, say what you think, or file issues with IDs. That's okay. Or in the discussion. Everything's open, but I still want to remind everyone that we have this target also. That would be great, and we can do it anytime we want. If we just decide that 2.0 is just a stepping stone, and we want to use that just for changing names, no new features, just breaking changes in the names, and then we can still continue on that to create other features and stuff like that. Like a 3.0 to do new feature, but we can do a 2.0 with just breaking changes. In terms of project organization, it might be easier to manage this way. And there are so many numbers, like we can go to 5,000 if we want. So we can break all the times we want, as long as it's a base. And we have a migration path. Good. I think it's time. Any other topics, questions?
Maybe a quick one. Like on the Elasticsearch PR that I did, I needed to break the recipes. Is it something that we want to check too? Because yeah, we need some migration path for the recipe if we break things. Maybe that's a good point for 2.0 too.
What do you mean breaking recipes? How do you break recipes?
When you change the settings in the database in the JSON, so if you change the structure, then...
Oh, you change the structure of the recipe?
Yeah.
Ah, why would you do that?
But like for the content index settings, we needed to have different naming. And we needed to introduce one for the Elasticsearch. So we needed 2 different ones. And
oh, you changed the index. Okay, point me to that and I will check.
Yeah.
Or on Tuesday we can look at that. On Thursday, sorry, we can look at that.
Yeah, but it's just one example. I mean, probably we will have in the future changes that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And we need to have like a migration path for these recipes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, cool. Also, something that can be done, that's done usually in the Azure App Service, is that you can do a change that is updating a structure without a new module. So it's just, first step is updating all the databases, all the schemas and everything to the new structure. And it can support the old one and a new one, but you know there is a step to migrate to the new one. And then we can ship the new feature that uses that. So yeah, there is something like being compatible with the previous one and the new one.
Yeah.
Incremental updates. Something like that. And then the release after, you remove the usage of the previous one. It's easier to ship the revert of the thing because you still have the old schema, you also have the new schema, and then you can drop the old schema. We have to look into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? All good. Thanks everyone. See you on Thursday or next. See you on Thursday. Be careful. See you on Thursday or never or next year.
Merry Christmas if
enjoy your holidays.
Doesn't show.
Happy holidays, whatever your holiday is.
Yeah, have a
like
good break,
drinking
everybody.
beer and watching soccer and stuff like that. Bye-bye.